gentlemen and ladies that you are teaching, they are quite young.
Right.
And what they have in excess is play. They play and play and play. They don't get to be tired of that. So people that played into your class, you don't make them to still be playing in your class. The essence of being in that class will be lost.
Okay.
So I get to be serious, not for seriousness sake, for them to learn.
That's right.
While I try to pass across the information as subtly as possible.
Okay. Now, you're a lecturer, an acting coach, actor, theatre manager, and also a Fuji musician.
Yes.
That's like jack of all trades
Yes, ma'am.
and
Master of
of all.
Thank you.
How are you able to cope with all of these things?
All right, ma'am. There is like a thread that connects everything. Being an actor, an acting coach, a theatre manager, a musician, a comedian. Everything is show business.
Okay.
Okay.
And just like Yoruba will say that the ears and the nose, they cannot overwhelm the head to carry along. So when something is in you, you do it effortlessly. It's like breathing. So, and if you want to achieve anything in life, there won't always be time. You create time. So I create time for all these things. And luckily, and as God would have it, I'm passionate about everything, so I do them seamlessly.
Now, was it something from your childhood that triggered your interest in all of these things?
Yes.
Or what exactly?
If you didn't ask that, I won't go there. Because
So now that I have asked, please go there.
it started with rascality.
Aha.
I used to be very rascally. As a boy, I loved attention.
Okay.
And I could entertain people easily. And that has always been what has now been with me as I began to grow.
When you say entertain people, what form of entertainment would you give?
Thank you. In the early 90s, I've been around for quite some minutes. So
Sure, that's fine.
when
for you.
When Alhaji Zika and Evarista dropped, I think Fuji Garbage, no, Adewale Ayuba, Bobo, I memorized everything. And I never used to memorize things to keep to myself. I always tried to just nudge any elder, somebody that is older than me. Let me sing for you. I like to sing for people and they are going to appreciate me. Just clap and say, that's wonderful.
I sometimes give you money.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, it comes with the effort. It comes with the effort. Go on.
I appreciate this
Go on.
talented guy. So, in my primary school, I attended United African Methodist Church, Ojuono, Ibadan, primary school. So all my senior colleagues, one way or the other, got to know about that. So everybody would just be, jostling to just come to my class, pretending that they are there to just make sure that we behaved ourselves. But they will now say, Monsiro, climb that desk, sing bubble for us. Sing this for us, sing this for us. And so there was a time that a radio station in Ibadan came around. They wanted to do a program. I still remember, call it Nyomomida. And the teacher in charge of were to do Ewi Kayefi, were to do another Ewi, just poetry and also just, how will I put it?
Some creative.
Yes. Chanting.
Exhibition, okay.
The day that they came, I was not around. And they had to give rules to other colleagues of mine. They wrote the things down. They memorized. Nobody got what they wanted. So when I came the following day, people were saying, Monsiro, where have you been? We have a crew around for rehearsal yesterday. You were not around. I said, don't worry. I will do what to nullify everything that they have done. He said, do you have what they have written? I said, no. And I went to the teacher. I said, I'm going to do what my colleagues are supposed to do. He said, what? I said, I'm going to do it. Do you know what we want to do? I said, just listen to what I'm going to do. And I just put Erika, what I used to do normally. I said, Monsiro, you are going with yours. And I did it. It was aired on Radio Nigeria back then.
Is that so?
So, yes. So with that, everybody in my neighborhood, we used to live at Ojuono then. They started calling me Olariwaju Adepoju.
Well, I don't get the significance of that.
Baba is an icon in poetry. So, and I did it so wonderfully well. And I ended it up with his signature stuff, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Tọ́nba sọ pé ta ló kọrin wì sínú àwo ẹ máa lé mi ní èmi Ọlájídé Mọ̀nsúrù tó ń gbé lápáta lójú ọ̀nà nílùú Ìbàdàn. So now I in primary school now. What is this? So that was the momentum that I just, took. Then when I was in secondary school, I was in art class, creative things. Apata Community Grammar School, right behind the government college in Ibadan. I was in art class and singing. Then that was when I now developed interest for Fuji music. Yes, that was, and I loved and I still love Alhaji Sikiru Ayinde Barrister. May God rest his soul.
Evidently so. When we gave you the floor, that was the first reference you made. Why?
As innocent and as young as I was, I knew there was something uncommon with this human being. The effortlessness with which he sang, the texture of his vocal cord. Now, he dressed well. He carries himself well. He's a wonderful, was a wonderful dancer and also an instrumentalist. So I was wondering if you look at our present crop of Fuji musicians now, respect to all of them, what Baba embodied, they split it now. You have a musician that is known for just singing. One is just known for being able to sing a beat, but dancing very well. Sikiru Ayinde Barrister was everything. Without anybody telling me, I just saw it that, okay, I think I love this guy. I love him so
much. Would you confidently say that he was a primary influence in your love for the genre?
It was.
Okay, in all of this, while you were growing up,
okay,
considering the phobia parents had for their children becoming entertainers, what were your parents' take on this?
Okay, before I was conscious of being alive, what Yoruba was saying told Moju, I used to be up to a lot of things that my mother narrated for me when I, grew up. She said that anytime that she and my dad, may God rest his soul, went for an event, that before they knew it, as little as I was, I would have been somewhere dancing and people would just encircle me, to be watching how well I was dancing to tune. Then my dad would say, Monsuru, where is Monsuru? Then she would point to me. So my dad would rush there, pick me up. Then people would be saying, leave you, enjoying you. And he would say, replace him with your own children. I'm taking, when he dances now and he's fatigued, I will be giving him painkiller at home. Right. This boy is too. So when I now grew up and I began to now tilt towards that entertainment, my dad he knew what he had.
What was incoming?
Yes. and as a matter of fact, I thought his approval of the whole thing was a trap. So I was very conscious around him to just say to his face that, sir, I would like to be a Fuji musician. I want to be an actor and every other thing. So what does this man like? First of all, you want somebody you must be godly.
Okay.
You don't have to be a Muslim or a Christian.
I see.
But you must be godly, and be humane. All right, you must worship God. The medium, he doesn't care. Then you must face your education very well. Okay, so I said, okay. So I
that is doable.
So I went to Lekio, I did Walima. Okay. Then I tried to do my stuff too. Got admission into the University of Ibadan. I graduated it, 2-1 is not bad.
Oh, great.
So and I said, sir, master's degree is not a bad idea. So no problem, go ahead. So I started my master's degree. I just said, sir, I'd like to discuss something with you. Yeah, what is that, young man?
Are you telling me that in between all those growing years, fulfilling all due callings and, obligations, so to speak, as a child, your dad never noticed that string of entertainment?
He did. As a matter of fact, I started my Fuji store with Wiri. mobile singing stuff that we do during Ramadan. At the early hours to wake people up that it is time for them to take sahur.
Okay.
Because I used to listen to Alhaji Sugar and the Barista's interview, and they would say, "Baba, how did you start Fuji music?" He said, "I started with Wiri." I said, "Oh, okay.
It means I
If I start with Wiri, I must start with Wiri because I couldn't go to Lagos to meet Alhaji Sugar and the Barista. It's what I regret. I never met him,
Wow.
but I learned Fuji from him. I will say that boldly.
Even though you didn't meet him.
So
It's like doing distance learning.
via Bluetooth.
Since I was young, I started buying cassettes before I was buying shoes or pant trousers for myself. I will just, do a job. And as a kid, my compilation of cassettes were like this, from Garbage to Barry at 42.
Your dad definitely noticed.
Yes, he noticed. He noticed all that. But I didn't want to. I think it was being, careful and circumspect that if I say, okay, this is wonderful, I may just jettison education. All right, because I just, okay. Barista is all this, he's very rich, he travels around the world, and he has a lot of wives. What else do I want? So
Before we go on, we'll take a break now. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. It's still the mid-morning show.
ilé ayé mi ò gba ìyá jẹ. Ìlú tí wàá níbí ni orí rẹ̀ ṣe ìyá rẹ̀ ní ọ̀dọ̀ sí. Dẹ́sán wọn o, sórí ìyá o, eré òkú eré ni obìnrin sáré ní oúnjẹ ọkùn. Tí eré bá wọ ara tán, ọmọ akáàbọ̀ sáré sí àpá. Ọmọ akáàbọ̀ sáré sí àpá.
Bàbá wa ti kárọ̀ ọdún dání, ó ní kí o jẹ́ kó wò ó.
All right, thank you very much for staying with us outside. Guest there, Monsuru Olajide, doing what he knows how to do best. Thank you very much for still being here.
Dude.
Okay, so you were running us through how you eventually came out to tell your dad.
All right, so
Yeah.
I just said, sir, I would like to discuss something with you. And he said, okay, I'm listening, young man. I said, I have a Fuji band, sir. And he said, wow, that's interesting. Interesting, that's good.
And you did.
I did. As a matter of fact, the following day was going to be my first rehearsal with my band members.
Okay.
And he said, okay, how often do you people meet? I said, we have not met, we are meeting tomorrow. And to God who made me, he dipped his hand into his pocket and he gave me some cash. I should get some things for them. Refreshment.
That was the endorsement.
It was the endorsement. And my dad's favorite musician was late Ayinla Omowura.
Okay.
That was the only musician that he listened to while he was alive.
So he would play that throughout the day.
Back to back. But I can tell you that my song was the other song that my father now began to listen to till he died.
Wow. Okay. So how did you feel with that level of acceptance? I mean, you felt it was under the radar all the while, but then he went ahead to say, look, I'm actually even giving you support for this. What did that do to your psyche?
It's, as you rightly said, blessing from someone that you... my dad was my friend. He understood me better than I understood myself. So it's after now that he is gone that I now begin to see what he had seen in me that I never saw. So I was happy. I was so happy. I wanted to cry.
No,
And your mom?
What about mom?
Yes, my mom. my mom would say two persons have crazy love for you, Monsuru. I would say, who are they? Say God Almighty and your dad.
Okay.
So if my dad says, don't do this, there is this trust that my dad, made us to have, with whatever. He doesn't just say, don't do this, he will explain. Don't do that, he will explain. There are a lot of things that he taught us through his own action. So I saw him as somebody that was not, just, how will I put it, somebody that is not arbitrary in his actions. So my mom just said, okay,
specific.
yes. My mom said that since your dad said it's fine. Allah work well with.
She just give you the...
Yes. So she seconded the motion, so to speak.
Interesting.
When did your sojourn into the academics start?
Unofficially, I've been teaching since I was in 200 level.
You mean what? Lessons?
Just
and the
like
likes?
explaining difficult things subject to my classmates. As a matter of fact, they never knew that was the only way I could read. If I found something difficult, I teach it.
And that way it sticks.
Yes,
It
because
liberates.
by the time I'm teaching, I know that I have to understand it a lot to be able to explain it to people. So I started with doing tutorials for my classmates. Then as I moved on, 200 level, I started to do it for those in 100 level. Then there was this very naughty course then in UI, theater